Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and arguing on the internet is literally turn-based combat. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game I've had on my wishlist for a very long time called iamfuture, or its full name, iamfuture Cozy Apocalypse Survival. Released in early access earlier today, developed by Mandragora, and published by TinyBuild, selling for $15 American. So, in this game, you basically play as some unnamed survivor who wakes up from a cryosleep pod. He looks around, looks and sees how pretty a destroyed world is, and sets off to work trying to regain his memories and figure out what he's supposed to do with his life. Or the mystery behind the leeches and invasive poisonous plants. I don't know. It's a bit vague and mysterious, with the underlying goal, I think, being go to the main headquarters building and find answers there. So yeah, now you're in this post-apocalyptic world and get to work surviving and crafting. That's pretty much it. So as always, let's go into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts. Up first is the good. And the first good thing I gotta say here is the art and the graphics. I mean, what is here is like, it's got some amazing color contrast and attention to detail going on here. I mean, the game just looks great. I love its art style, the lighting is good, the specifics are good, and overall it just looks pleasant on the eyes. I mean, is it the best that I've ever seen? No, but it's still pleasant enough for this style of gameplay that I just gotta give it some kudos, because it's just so nice to look at. As I said, the color contrast and the different colors that they used. And despite the cartoony feel it has, it still does have a lot of good attention to detail. So it's got some good looks here. The next positive thing I have here is the sound effects and the music. The game does have partial voice acting, but don't count on hearing it a whole lot. I only heard it in the beginning cutscene, which didn't last for very long. As for the music, it's perfectly pleasant as background music and works very well with the environment that you're in and the job that you have to complete. I actually love the music here. It's very calming and pleasant all around. Kinda reminded me of how I felt listening to My Time at Portia music or Stardew Valley music. As for the sound effects, they're perfectly decent. Everything sounds the way you want it to, and everything that you would want to have a sound effect actually has one, and it all works well together, which is the best part. Next up for the positives is the gameplay. The game has a lot of little features and things that you'll need to learn how to do to play the game effectively, like all tools are connected to your arm via future, and so now you need to unlock newer ones or better ones as you progress through the stories that are given to you. Each tool serves a specific function for clearing away certain debris or collecting certain resources, but that's not all. You have a food meter and a health meter, and you'll want to keep them both up high. Having your hunger up high, for instance, allows you to work faster and carry more materials at once. A great little boon for being well fed. And if you ever lose health due to the dangers in this world or lack of food, then go to sleep and it'll regenerate. Sleeping also speeds up time really fast, so it's a great way to get through those pesky nights. And you're going to want to do that because at night these pests come out. Evil plants that spread like crazy, consuming everything, and poison if you touch them. Then you've got the leeches that'll eat all the electronics or eat your crops. Scare them off with torches or use pest repellent spray that you can craft. You can also fish, discover new food dishes, fillet the fish you caught, and create new dishes to eat with that. You can craft a plethora of stuff here, each one serving a newer function to make your life here more pleasurable or just more streamlined and easier when you're playing it. The main premise of the game is basically to collect resources, unlock new tools, collect newer resources with those new tools, and then with those new tools, unlock new areas, which you can then explore and then rinse and repeat while building up your base to be as efficient as possible to help you with that previously stated premise. Up next is the price of the game. It is only $15. I mean, this game will probably last me at least a week to get to the end of the content, and that's if I played it all day every day, and it's got so much here that price tag is incredible. I mean, when you consider how much is here, how much is left to come, and the current state of the build that this game has, it is totally worth more than $15. So that price tag is awesome. And last but not least for the positives is the overall stability and user interface. Now, while the user interface is different from a lot of things I've seen in the past, it's not bad. It's pretty clear cut, easy to use, easy to see, easy to recognize, and just easy to understand in general. Then you've got the stability. Whilst playing the game, I personally never ran into a bug or a glitch that I could recognize. No clipping, no frame rate dropping, no crashing or freezing or anything like that. So for an early access game, it's so damn stable that it felt like a fully released game. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know, and this is what I mean, like when people get mad at me for talking about early access games and how I'm too harsh on them, why? Games like this come out and they're perfectly stable with plenty of content for an affordable price. Like this is how it should be for all early access games because they're all early access. You're asking us to beta test your game. You're asking us to pay you to beta test your game when you should be paying us to beta test your game. So of course I'm going to be harsh on them, especially when I know that there are games like this out there that exist. Alright, So that's all the pros I got to say for the game. Now on to the negatives. But first, the only way that my channel gets more views is if it gets more views. I know, it's kind of ridiculous, right? Now, I've tried a bunch of different stuff to get my channel seen, but what it really comes down to is people out there on social media, excuse me, on social media or on YouTube, sharing my video. Help it get more public appearance that way. That's the best way you can help my channel grow and help me, just help me get more views. That's the best way for my channel to grow and for me to get more popular, which a lot of people have been wondering why I'm not a bigger YouTuber, because everyone seems to think I'm really good at what I do, which, by the way, all of you who said that, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It makes me feel like I can keep going. But the point is my channel is tiny and YouTube doesn't advertise tiny channels. So I need help from my fans out there to spread the word, and that's how my channel grows. All right? I'd really appreciate your help, so thank you. Now then, on to the negatives. And I'm going to be honest, even with the nitpicking, I wasn't coming up with much. But here's what I got. The controls are a bit wonky and awkward at times, along with the camera. It all moves too slow, even after upping the sensitivity to maximum, and your character cannot run or jump. And the controls are wonky because in some areas it's missing shortcut key commands, and sometimes using your inventory or other items can be a bit of a hassle. There's no sorting button on your backpack or your storage chest, and sometimes you have to click the leave button in a dialogue a dozen times before it actually works and you can leave the dialogue. Also, escape doesn't get you out of your current UI menu. It always goes to the options menu. Instead, you have to click on the little X to get out of that particular UI menu for a storage chest or something or whatever. And that's frustrating and slows me down when every game I've ever played, except for, some early access ones who don't understand, when you hit the escape button, it gets you out of that menu you're in. Like, that's the shortcut key to get you out of whatever it is you're doing. Everybody knows this. That's why it's called escape. The next negative I have is the tutorial. And while it's not the worst that I've ever seen, or that this game even really needs much of one, there are a few things that I'd appreciate it if the tutorial could give me some information about. For instance, in the workbench, some things you can craft and then they'll go right into your inventory. Other things are recipes that you learn so that you can then craft it somewhere else. But why? Why do it this way? It's a workbench. Let me build it there. It's confusing. And the game didn't tell me that. I had to figure that out for myself. There are other situations like that as well, where the game just kind of expects you to know what you're doing or how to do something when you just don't, because this game isn't like other survival games. Hell, in the beginning, I was running around forever trying to find copper wire to make a control fuse or whatever that thing was that the game wanted me to have, so that way I could unlock this gate so I could progress to the next area. The game gave me enough for one fuse, but I needed two, and the game didn't help me or teach me or tell me anything about how to get it. And so for the longest time, I thought I was stuck in this area because the devs miscounted, only to later realize you could craft one in an obscure section of your workbench. Wish the game had told me that earlier so I wasn't wasting my time this whole time looking for one. And yeah, that's about all the negatives I got to say about this game, and in my opinion, they're pretty minor. Overall, I'm really enjoying this game. I can find myself really loving this game, and I can already see myself losing myself to it for the next week or so if I don't get distracted by other games or family issues. I've really been into Kenshi and Baldur's Gate 3 lately. It's not meant to be a stressful game, so keep that in mind. It's meant to be relaxing and enjoyable, but it still does have a few minor stressful events to keep you engaged, like hunger or the leeches that come at night and eat your crops. But overall, this is a really pleasant, relaxing, survival crafting kind of game with its own charm and its own style, and honestly, I can't praise it enough. I think everybody who sees this video should go check out this game. If you're just even a little bit curious, definitely go check it out. I mean, in my opinion, it is totally worth your time and money, and yeah, I recommend it. Because, I mean, all of this for $15 is not bad at all. But that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.